On Tuesday night, we saw Aston Villa beat Norwich City 2-0, making it 4 wins in Gerrard's first 6 games in charge. We have already seen how Gerrard has raised standards and made Aston Villa defensively solid with his trademark narrow 4-3-3 formation looking instantly well drilled. If you haven't yet seen my earlier video on this, I'll pop a link on screen now. One thing that Gerrard will still want to improve on though is how his team plays in possession. His first 5 games in charge, whilst impressive, did see Aston Villa concede the lion's share of possession to their opponents. But, particularly in the first half versus Norwich, we did see them start to show signs of Gerrard's possession-based football. Let's take a look. I spoke in my first video about how important the narrow front three were to Gerrard's style of play out of possession, but they are also a really important part of how he likes to attack. The front three are very fluid and often switch around to create overloads in wide areas of the final third of the pitch. For example, versus Norwich, when attacking down our right-hand side, we would see Cash very high and wide. Buendia and McGinn would then go across and support. At times, we'd also see Young or Watkins go across to help create the overload, whilst the other one stays in the box. This makes it easier to keep possession of the ball, but also drags more defenders over to that side of the pitch, allowing Villa to then look to switch the ball and attack the space on the opposite flank, usually through Matt Targett. In my last video, I also mentioned how important attacking fullbacks were to Gerrard's Rangers, and how we had already started to see the likes of McGinn and Ramsey dropping into those fullback areas, allowing Cash and Targett to step much higher up the pitch. This means that our players who are stronger in possession, like Ramsey and McGinn, and have a better range of passing, are the ones that are on the ball in the more risky defensive areas of the pitch, meaning we are less likely to lose possession here and also have a wider range of passing options available to play. Having both fullbacks high up the pitch allows us to create width when attacking. This allows the narrow front three to create the overloads that I mentioned before, whilst keeping an option open to switch the play. When Dean Smith had Villa playing a 3-5-2, we saw Cash and Targett look very effective in these attacking areas. However, they did then find themselves getting exposed defensively. This is why Gerrard's midfield three is so important during build-up. In the earlier stages, 2 of the midfield 3 form a back 4 to keep a solid defensive structure when playing out. This allows us to have a better shape when transitioning if the ball is lost, and we often see 1 or 2 of our front 3 dropping deeper to receive the ball between the lines and almost effectively taking the more traditional positioning of the centre midfielder. However, in more attacking stages of build-up, we see the team shape morph into more of a 2-3-5 shape, which is similar, though achieved in a slightly different way, to how Pep Guardiola's Manchester City attack. The midfield 3, then, are well positioned to not only provide passing options, but also to quickly stop any counter-attacks before they have a chance to develop into anything more dangerous. And just generally, they are there to offer a solid defensive screen in front of our 2 centre-backs. Just a quick note to say, if you are enjoying this video so far, then please go and quickly hit that subscribe button below. Another thing we are seeing is clear attempts to play out from the back, as we often look to go short from goal kicks. Again, this is something that I have mentioned before, but what we did see on a few occasions versus Norwich was Konza driving with the ball out from defence. This is certainly something that Gerrard will be encouraging when playing against teams that are likely to play in a low defensive block, to help displace their shape and help to create overloads in order to keep possession of the ball. As much as I love Tyrone Mings, I do have some concerns over his ability to play in this way. In fact, even versus Norwich, there are often times that he sent the ball long that resulted in possession being given away when a more composed centre-back would have looked to play out and find a teammate. Also, versus Norwich, we started to see some of the possession style that Gerrard has been working on. Aston Villa's shape constantly allowed players to create triangles on the pitch to ensure that they always had passing options available. We then saw lots of 1 or max 2 touch passing going on. This keeps the defensive team moving and means that they will start to tire, but this also means that gaps will start to open up in the opposition's defensive structure. Finally, we also have players working hard off the ball making dangerous runs. Quite often we saw Matty Cash playing the ball inside and then running beyond the fullback marking him to play a 1-2 in a very dangerous area of the pitch. The important thing to take away is that there is still a long way to go on this project. Whilst we did see glimpses of these things in the first half versus a struggling Norwich side, we still struggled to dominate in the second half and actually ended the game on nearly 50-50 possession. Gerrard has a lot of work to do and probably some thinking ahead of the January transfer window in order to continue his charge up the table and be able to dominate more games. Thanks for watching, Villa fans, and don't forget to subscribe to make sure you keep seeing more of these videos.